Did you like school at your old school?
No.
No. Why didn't you love
Flat out
school?
no. There was nothing fun about it. The only thing I looked forward to was lunch, where we would sit in a cafeteria, eat these gross mozzarella sticks, and just like it was so loud. It was full of people, and it was just so chaotic, and it felt like there was no organization, but not in a good way. It was just so too much, but not fun.
Yeah, kind of like felt like prison.
Yeah, that's how all the kids describe it. It's like, yay, we're out of prison.
Welcome to the Future of Education podcast, hosted by Mackenzie Price. Mackenzie is the founder of a revolutionary new school model that's disrupting education through AI. Join us as we discuss the latest in education innovation.
Why do you think at a traditional school it's not cool to do good?
I think it's just like, take the easy way out. Why are you doing the extra credit? You're just being a perfectionist. That's not cool. You're just being a goody two-shoes. Whereas here, it's just, you're not being a goody two-shoes. You're actually getting your work done. You're becoming smarter. Whereas there, it was just answering a few extra questions. But here, it's actually doing more skills, actually getting stuff done. And I know that because of that, I've progressed in grade levels.
How important do you think it is to love school?
I think it's really important because if I'm not going to get up every day for 6 months and be like, oh my God, I'm dreading what I have to go to right now. And right now, I enjoy coming to school because I actually get to see my friends and I get to have fun. And I'm like, okay, the night before school, on Sundays, I'll make a plan of what I want to do the next day, and then it actually excites me. And I know that every kid is like this. You just don't want to get out of bed. That's just the average thing for everyone on the planet. But I think that school is not the reason why. I think it's just I like my bed.
Yeah. But did you like school at your old school?
No.
No. Why didn't you love
Flat
school?
out no. There was nothing fun about it. The only thing I looked forward to was lunch, where we would sit in a cafeteria, eat these gross mozzarella sticks, and just like it was so loud. It was full of people, and it was just so chaotic, and it felt like there was no organization, but not in a good way. It was just so too much, but not fun.
Yeah. Kind of like felt like prison.
Yeah. That's how all the kids describe it. It's like, yay, we're out of prison.
That's a sad way to think of it, especially when you've got to spend 13 years going to school 5 days a week, 9 months a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time to be in prison.
I think the future of education is this because I know that also there's a lot less drama, and I've been hearing of my friends who are still at this other school, and they wouldn't stop talking about all this drama, and I'm so glad I'm out of this, and I am not spending my time focusing on who likes who, but more of getting my work done, but also just doing my workshops and my Genesis project and all this fun stuff.
Let's talk about the Genesis project. First of all, what is a Genesis project?
So it's a passion project where you get to look into something you're interested in, and you could either start a business, create an app, do some sort of fundraising activity, anything like that.
And what is your Genesis project?
So I had a project. It was called Little Luck's Closet, where we were going to create a rent-the-runway for kids.
That was cool, by the way. Great idea.
It didn't end up working out because there was problem with the group, and it was just a whole thing. And I know that I wasn't looking forward to it, and I didn't want to have to do a project 3 times a week that I just wasn't looking forward to. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to steer direction. So I'm trying to do a vocal project, but I am sort of just exploring the field right now, seeing which part of the vocal thing I'm interested in.
Okay.
But I'm thinking about creating a social media app for kids my age who are interested in vocalizing, but not scary social media where you're bombarded with all these addictive things and everything like that.
Wow. So you're interested in music.
Yeah.
Do you sing as well?
Yeah.
You do? That's great.
Yeah.
What kind of singing do you like to do? Is there a type of genre you like?
I just like singing pop. I'm pretty basic when it comes to that, but I take classes every week.
You do. That's awesome. And so you get to pursue your musical interests.
Yeah.
Actually, let's do this. We're going to play a game.
Oh,
okay?
Scary.
So you see, this is the Future of Education wheel. Mm-hmm. We have a bunch of different things. You may have absolutely no idea what some of these things are about, but we're going to just see. And once I spin the wheel, I'm going to ask you to give me your thoughts. Ooh, standardized tests.
I did state testing back at my traditional school, and it was the worst thing ever because it's also on paper, and it's just disgusting. But here we just do map testing, which, I don't look forward to. No one looks forward to MAP, but they motivate us actually with money specifically for MAP because it's we know that you can do this. It's just, can you do it specifically in this scenario? Mm-hmm. And we have to do MAP testing where if we get in the 99th percentile, we get a specific amount of money, or we get a specific prize with our personal guide that we make a motivational model for. Uh-huh. But that's like the only standardized test that everyone has to do. But there's also the ISEE, which helps us determine where we're going to go to high school. So I did a practice one, even though I'm in 7th grade, but I'm going to take the real one next year. And I know that personally I wasn't prepared for it, but there's a special program called ISE Blitz where they teach you all you need to know on the ISE so that you go in prepared. You can actually excel and do your best.
Yeah. Well, did you also know that with the map testing, we take the information that we get from map testing and we feed that back into the AI tutor to make sure that you learn any holes that you have.
So we get knowledge gaps whenever we're done.
Exactly. You get your knowledge gaps. That's a very good answer. Let's see if we can do it again. Ready?
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
Do you know what vouchers are?
Kind of.
Tell me
not
about
in
them.
this scenario.
Well, tell me. What do you think they are?
Aren't they like sort of coupons? Like
They are like coupons.
you do this, you get that.
So here's what this is in this situation is that there are certain states that give education vouchers to families that they can spend a certain amount of money, like $10,000 per year on school for their kids, so that if you don't want to go to a public school, you could take that money and put it towards a private school. And some people think vouchers are great. I love vouchers. Some people don't like them. I'm going to tell you what some of our haters say about our schools, and then you can respond. Our haters say that 2 hours cannot possibly be enough time for students to learn. What do you say to that?
I know that I don't just do my work in 2 hours every day because we have study hall blocks, which is just an hour and a half where we just get to do any made up work. And also, I know that everyone, even with the people with extracurriculars, there's always time to make up this work. And it's 2 hours is definitely enough time, given the fact that theoretically we only have to do 20 skills a week. I know that if you can do like 5 skills a day, then you'll be all set.
And you can learn more in 2 hours than sitting in a traditional class all day, right?
Because I'm able to get a bunch of stuff done. And it's not just I'm rushing through it to finish these skills. It's like, oh, this is how you do compound complex sentences or something like that. So when you learn at your own pace, it's definitely different because you get to spend the time that you need, because I know that I understand language. It's just something that has always come easy to me, and I can go quick on language while still like understanding what I need to understand or getting done what needs to be done. But I know that I have time on the subjects that I actually need to be spending a lot of time on, so I can separate this timing using the Pomodoro method to do these specific subjects.
Yeah, so you really get personalized learning. And so in 2 hours, you can end up getting a lot more done than if you were sitting in like a classroom just going at the same pace.
Because I know that I don't need 45 minutes to answer 4 questions on a language thing or writing an essay. It's just those timings are set, and I don't know who comes up with them because I don't think any kid really can get everything done in 45 minutes, or I don't understand why it would be 45 minutes for such an easy thing. So the biggest difference is I'm getting an individual learning plan where it's just, I'm not with 30 other kids sitting in a room waiting for a teacher to go around and talk to us. I can get stuff done. I don't need to rely on anyone else, which is really helpful because I know that if I was in an actual classroom, 2 hours would not work because I end up waiting for 30 minutes for my teacher to come around to me, which is wasting so much time that I could be spent doing other subjects or even just getting the work done. So here I can just get help exactly when I need it. I don't have to wait for anyone, and I don't have to use any other resources other than the ones that are given to me.
Yeah, that 2 hours that you spend here is like super high quality time, whereas 2 hours in a traditional school is a lot of sitting around.
Yeah.
Here's something our haters say about our schools. They believe there's too much screen time. What's your response to that?
So I know that it's an AI-based school, but really on most days of the weeks where we have workshops, we only spend about 2.5 hours, or not even 2.5 because we have breaks every like 25 minutes. So in total, we probably spend 2 hours on our screens, but we do the work, we take breaks so our eyes aren't being strained. But during lunch, no one's really on their screens. Like sometimes we'll have our phones to go off campus and sometimes we'll be like texting each other, but no one's ever just sitting on their phone scrolling like without a purpose. There's always something going on. And then we have our workshops. No one brings their phones to workshops because there's always something that we're doing. We're never just sitting bored. Like I know I did a workshop called Trailblazers, which was a camping workshop.
Ooh.
And I wouldn't bring my phone because I would be out camping. Even if one person was setting up a tent, I would still have something else to do. I would purify water. I would set up campgrounds, anything like that.
So, and I think the other thing is that people think that sitting on a screen, watching TikTok or watching YouTube is the same as sitting on a screen learning. And are they the same?
No, because even at my old school, we did use our computers. We only used them for like 10 minutes, and we would do Khan Academy, but it would never be skills that have anything to do with what we're actually learning. And I don't think that TikTok and like our IXL is the same thing, because TikTok, you're literally learning nothing. If anything, you're just like de-learning everything, because there's no purpose in what you're watching. You're just watching a bunch of junk. But here, you're not just watching stuff. Like, there is a video that's provided, but typically we like to do the hands-on approach where we actually write it out instead of just watching the video. And I definitely don't think it's the same, because we're moving through questions, we're switching through subjects, we're always changing up what we're doing, but it's always productive. We're never just like
It's
doom
productive
scrolling.
learning
it's productive
that
learning.
happens to be
On a
delivered
screen.
via screen. It's not sitting there brain rotting.
Yeah, I'm not just
It's
like
the opposite of brain
staring
rot.
into a screen.
I love
into
it.
the abyss.
A lot of our haters say that machines can't replace teachers. What's your response?
I don't think that's true, because I think that teachers, like, it's not necessarily just a machine that's teaching you. It's that you have questions, and if you do have a question, if you don't understand a problem, you can still like get attention from a guide and they can explain it to you. But I don't think it's really, they can't replace teachers, because teachers, their job is to focus on everyone. But our screens, it's like our computers, they focus on us and we get this stuff done. But I think that they do replace teachers. I think that machines can replace teachers, because I am in 8th grade language, for example, even though I'm in 7th grade, because I actually was able to progress instead of just sitting in a classroom, I guess getting taught, but I would learn one thing a day. Learning one thing a day in every subject isn't productive.
Mm-hmm. So AI machines can replace teachers in the teaching part of learning.
Yeah.
But is there a place for teachers in our schools?
We have our guides, which are definitely like, they still walk us through problems. They're still there to help us learn stuff. They just don't have as big of a role when it comes to the teaching, but they're still there for us emotionally.
They're doing all the other things
Yeah.
that I actually think humans are best at,
Yeah.
right? Which is connecting with you.
Yeah.
And so they're doing that. That's amazing. Rourke, it is such a pleasure to get to talk to you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that you guys moved from New York so that you could come to this school, because it's been so fun to get to know you, and I love watching your journey, and I can't wait to see where you continue to go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Mackenzie Price and the Future of Education podcast. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is the time to do it, so you can stay up to date on all our episodes. You can connect with Mackenzie on social media and be part of our daily conversation over on Instagram at futureof_education. For more info about the show and our guests, you can always visit futureofeducationpod.com. Lastly, if you're loving what you're learning, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back in your feed soon, but until then, remember, kids are limitless, and it's our job to unlock their potential.